Okay, so you're watching this because you're getting in front of people and you're explaining to them what you're doing, maybe in one sentence or two sentences, but they still don't understand. Or you're using so many words that you got to get a dictionary or Google to figure out what it is, or people have to figure out what it is you're trying to say. So one thing that's important when it comes to what it is that you do, also known as your I help statement, also known as your elevator pitch. We're going to get into ways that you can make that make sense so that people know in one or two sentences exactly what it is that you do, and they're able to articulate that to other people. But before we get into it, I need you to go ahead and please like this video, and I need you to subscribe. That helps me to help more people like you get the word out when it comes to networking, social media, and just how to grow your business. My name is Lutalo K. I'm a social media strategist. That's the thing that I do. So let's talk about that. When it comes to your elevator pitch or your I help statement. So number one, it needs to be a statement that a fifth grader can understand. Maybe you can go between, some people say third grade, some people say eighth grade, but it should be around that third to fifth grade level. If you look at most of your newspapers or your online newspapers, they're pretty much written in a fifth grade level. If nobody understands what it is that you do, you're not going to have a sale. You want it to be a statement where the person that you tell it can tell somebody else. I could tell you a perfect example. One time I went to a chamber event. It was a chamber event. Walked into the door, and there were a couple of people that came to me and said, "Hey, there's somebody here that probably needs your help." And to me, that makes it clear that, you know, I visit a lot of networking events, and this group knew what I did. They understood what I do. So to be able for me to walk in the door and say, hey, here's somebody, that's something that's important. But let's talk about that fifth grade level. If you can go up to an eighth grader and say your elevator pitch, and that fifth grader can explain that to somebody else, that says something. And let's graduate it up a little bit, and let's just say eighth grade. Let's say that eighth grader, but I have had experiences where, and you know, all due respect, you got your MBA, you got your PhD, but if you're wanting to make a sale, and you know, I would even challenge you, even if you're the person that you're selling to has an MBA or has a PhD, the key is they want to be able to sell it. And I'll agree, your statement, your elevator pitch needs to be at a level where you know your market, and your market needs to understand it. So that's point blank. Still going back to that fifth grade level, but your market needs to understand it. And hey, if you've got a market that, you know, understands the whole Webster's dictionary, great. Then your statement, I'm not going to go against that. But I'm going to tell you, this day and age, if you watch any commercial, anything that's out there, it's fifth grade. It's at that level where people understand. So that first thing you need to make sure is at that level. The second thing is make sure it's two sentences. Don't go a whole paragraph where someone goes like glass-eyed when it comes to your statement. It needs to be 1 to 2 sentences. Keep in mind, elevator pitch. So if you bump into somebody and you want to say something, you're going from the first floor to the second floor, it's not going to be 10 minutes. You're not going to have 5 minutes to explain. If it's, keep in mind, conversation, what is it that you do? Okay, what is it that you do? 2 sentences. Do the 2 sentences, get in, get out. 2 sentences. That pitch needs to be 2 sentences. The last thing is, your statement really needs to say like, I help. So what is it that you do? What is it that you solve? What is it that you cure? What is it that you resolve? It needs to be like, you know, my statement is, I help business owners use social media to strategically help them get customers and grow their business. So, you know, it needs to be along those lines. Where do you help? What problem do you solve? In that 1 to 2 sentence, if you're going from the first floor to the second floor to the third floor on that elevator, in that 1 to 2 sentences, what do you solve? What do you resolve? And at the end of the day, can you explain that to that 8th grader so they say, oh, this is what you do. I understand that. That makes sense. You want to make sure that your I help statement, aka also known as your elevator pitch, is really clear about that. You want people to understand what you do. If they don't understand, like, okay, I'm a business consultant, that leaves questions like, what is that? Like, what problem do you solve? What are you doing? What are you enhancing? What are you growing? What do you do? They're a business consultant, okay? So what does that mean? So you really want to make sure, you really want to have thought in that. What does that mean? What does that do? So let's recap. We're talking about when you're at a networking event. Shoot, you could be in the grocery store at line. You can meet somebody. You could be at a baby shower, a wedding, in 1 or 2 sentences, when you just got seconds to explain and there's an exchange, can someone understand exactly what it is that you do? And keep in mind, you want it to be that 3rd to 8th grade level. You want it to be where you could tell an 8th grader and that 8th grader, bam, that person understands what he or she does and can explain it. Number 2, not a paragraph. 1 or 2 sentences. And number 3, what do you resolve? What do you help? What problem do you solve? That's going to be the key. So tell me in the comments, what do you think? Well, do you already have your I help statement? Does anything that I've said in this video help? Does it make sense? Do you feel like it should be, advanced, higher than the 8th grade? What's been your experience with your statement, your elevator pitch? Just let me know.